Oh, there you are, YouTube. Doodle 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 doo. Subscribe.
What are we watching today?
Candyman.
Oh, the new one.
Except we'll flip it and watch the old one first.
Right. Yes. We'll watch the original today. Good choice.
Oh.
You want to pick that one out too?
Candyman.
Candyman. Good job.
All right.
So, the 92 Candyman. I'm not sure I fully understood this movie. I was a little confused at the end. I felt like I was sort of understanding everything as the movie was going along, but then at the end there was just some things that seemed like rules that seem to have been established for the character of Candyman, and Virginia Madsen's character just were sort of turned upside down, and I don't know how that's possible. Like, I think maybe some explanation needed to happen because it just kind of seemed arbitrary. I don't know. Should I just get into the end already? I don't know. I want to talk about the movie itself. It was weird. So backstory, I have never seen this. This was a first-time watch for me. When I was a kid growing up on HBO or Cinemax, one of the two, I can't remember, I always remember them advertising this movie and telling me that it was going to be playing at night. But my parents are divorced. I would spend the days at my dad's, and then I would spend the night at my mom's place. My mom didn't have cable. My dad did have cable, so I'd see the commercials the advertising for this movie, but by the time I get to my mom's house, you know, I didn't have cable to watch it, so I was never able to watch this movie. And for some reason on the weekends when I was at my dad's, it just, you know, when I was staying the night there, it just wasn't playing. So this was a movie that I've always been interested in seeing. For some reason I just never rented it, and I'm just watching it for the first time now, even though I feel very familiar with a lot of the imagery because of the advertising that I would see on HBO or Cinemax, whichever it was. Probably Cinemax. I think it was Cinemax. So, yeah, first time watch. And it's always been sort of described to me as a horror movie, and that's kind of the vibe I was picking up on as a kid. And I guess it is that, but it just felt so weird while I was watching it. Like, I just kept turning to my wife and I was like, this doesn't feel like a horror film. This feels like something else. What would you call this? Like a psychological horror? And then she's like, psychological thriller? And I'm like, okay. And with a little bit of true crime involved, but it's also very much like a Dracula movie. Like, there's a lot of like romance in it. Like something like Guillermo Del Toro would make. Like, it just seems really horny or something, just sexualized. Even though there's not a lot of that in it, it just kind of, the way like Dracula is always like, I don't know, sensual or something, erotic. I don't know the words I'm looking for, but that sort of exists in this movie too. Like, Candyman is like very sensual, romantic or something, but he's a killer. You know, like Dracula, you know, like vampires are. And I guess I just didn't know that was going to be a part of this, and it was, and it was just like surprising because I just had a completely different picture of what this movie was, and yeah, it didn't end up like that at all. Like, I guess I just thought it was going to be like a slasher movie, you know, but like sort of like a, maybe, I guess maybe like Freddy Krueger or something, you know, you say, like with Freddy Krueger, you fall asleep and then he attacks you. Like, it was just kind of like, okay, I think this movie's going to be very generic, and you say Candyman into the mirror and then he pops out and then stalks you and kills you. I didn't realize there was going to be all this other stuff involved, like more layers to it, and then just how, again, like sexualized it was without being like graphic. Like, it was all through intensity of emotion and voice, and that just, I don't know, it was very interesting. Like, I was just like, oh wow, it kept me captivated throughout the entire time, and I was very tired during this movie, but I was staying awake because I was like, I need to figure this out, because I just can't, like, I can't like put my finger on what this movie is other than, I don't know. Guillermo Del Toro is always talking about like Gothic romances, you know? And it's like, is that what this is? Is this kind of like a Gothic romance? But the end, let's get to that part. So Candyman just seems very like, what's the word? Ethereal, ghostly, supernatural. That's the word I'm looking for. So, not somebody that could be killed physically, you know, by like stabbing them or something like that. And that's sort of what happens at the end. Unless this was done in some sort of like, I don't know, twilight state of the mind or something. I don't know. Virginia Madsen basically like stabs him with a fiery stake or something like that, if I remember right. And it's like, you can just kill him that way? Because I just thought he was more like ghostly and impossible to kill, and it just seemed too worldly of a death for somebody like him. So that was very confusing to me. And then here's some more spoilers here. After Virginia Madsen does that, she's also like in the process of saving this baby, and she's crawling out of this like wood pile that's on fire, and so she's like crawling through little openings and catching on fire, keeping this baby safe, and gets the baby safe. But in the process, she like Anakin Skywalker's herself and is just like, you know, completely burned, you know, like how Anakin's looking when he's crawling out of the lava pits, right? That's how Virginia Madsen's looking at the end of this. And she's kind of alive, but then you know, find out at the end she's dead. And also we get these really great shots of her in her coffin. And the makeup on her is hilarious. She looks like a clown. I don't know why they made her up like that. And but it was kind of cool to see, you know, like a coffin point of view shot. But anyway, she like turns into the new Candyman, Helen. Helen, you know, you look into a mirror and say Helen 5 times, and she comes out and kills you. But is that for anybody or just her husband? Because her husband cheated on her. Again, I'm talking to you like you've seen this. Like, is she ever going to kill anybody else? What other motive would she have to kill anybody else? I was kind of thinking that with Candyman. What's his motive for killing these people? I don't get it. Is he just kind of pissed off at the world? Is that what Helen is now? Or is she only killing her ex-husband for cheating? Because that, okay, you know, that makes sense in this world and for her character, but I can't see her needing to harm anyone else beyond him. So maybe this was just a one-time deal for her at the end. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I'm curious. What are your thoughts on this movie? I just felt confused at the end. How did she kill such a supernatural entity with such worldly objects? That did not make sense to me. So was something else going on that maybe I missed? And yeah, do you think Helen's gonna go on like a killing spree and sort of be the new Candyman, or was that just like a one thing? Like she's getting revenge, you know, on her husband for cheating on her while she was in the mental hospital. I don't know. It's just the end was kind of like, wait, I don't know. Everything seemed to make sense, but now I'm a little lost. So, what do you think? Can you help me out? Can you help me understand this movie a little bit more? Maybe it is supposed to be ambiguous and strange at the end. I don't know. But perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout. Doodle 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 doot. Subscribe!